Andre, how do you describe the relationship between NATO as as an institution and the armies of these individual countries in Europe? Because if one of them goes to a war, is that mean that NATO goes to war, or that could be separated from the reality and that country has decided that it doesn't have anything to do with NATO? How can we understand that?
Well, I mean, essentially, starting from the Article 4 into the Article 5, roughly speaking, this is all about how each individual country decides to contribute and respond to if the war starts, let's say. NATO is the United States, period. Remove United States, it's a bunch of the nincompoops running there, grabbing their behinds, such as French army or Bundeswehr, and let alone British. So, I mean, they do not have any really well developed system of the interaction and coordination of their. They talk about now this Schengen, military Schengen, because, oh, yeah, we can transfer, tanks and all that things,
Exactly.
just without any kind of the barriers. Okay, good luck with that. The problem is that do you have required force? Europe doesn't. It's not just about the fact that they can assemble some force. It's the issue of if they can sustain this force. And Europe does not have resources to sustain this force. Russia does. Even the United States doesn't have resources to sustain any significant force. We're talking about the combined arms capable of basically conducting combined arms operations, the scale of what special military operation is. And it has been proven empirically beyond the shadow of a doubt. Only morons who live in the alternative reality, so yeah, they don't understand that. But I mean, for any serious military and economic mind, it is clear what is happening.
Can they keep it if something happens in Europe? Do you think they can keep it in Europe, regional, or that could expand through the Northern America?
uh,
Because we know the capabilities of the country. Because these neocons in the United States, they believe if something happens, Europe can be a buffer zone. You know, they can even sacrifice in Europe is not that much. You know, it's somehow amazing to look at this way, but if we go that extreme to understand what would be the if something happens, how do you see the reactions if if something of that scale happen in Europe?
well, Nyakons are not good at war to start with. They never were. They don't understand warfare. They're clowns. If you could want to see who they are, don't go any further than Afghanistan, for example, or Iraq. I mean, or don't go any further like the Institute for the Study of War, this Kagan's cabal, the bunch of the cretins trying to pretend that they understand what is going on the front lines. They don't know what warfare is, modern warfare. Their idea was always from the get-go that, yeah, in the end we can sacrifice Europe. The problem is with those cretins is that there is a truckload still of the American troops in Europe, and guess what? They get it if, God forbid, something starts there, and they will be wiped out pretty fast because United States Army doesn't have any defense in terms of air defense. U.S. Air Force is grossly overrated, grossly, well, pretty much it was marketing campaign. Reality is it cannot find within the modern battlefield airspace, which is highly prohibitive, not only because of the air defense, they don't have experience of facing anything like this, and they never have experience facing the world-class air force. And so when you look at this attentively, they say, oh yeah, let them, even go nuclear. The problem is there is roughly 50,000 U.S. troops and some installations such as the Weselo Aegis ashore, some in Poland and other places, that they will be gone in the first 48 hours if Europeans decide to do stupid things. And that means what? There will be very many casualties. Well, within one day, United States will actually exceed the casualties, well, killed, that they had for 10 years in Afghanistan. You have to you have to explain to those people. But considering that neocons they are not good with math, they are not good with operations, and so you have to explain to them what's happened. what's going to happen. So what's going to be the response of the United States? Does United States want to exchange, for example, New York and other cities for, let's say, they're not going to break through Moscow, but let's say, God forbids, any other city in Russia, for example? Are they ready? And here comes the issue that if once that starts, United States ceases to exist as a nation. Russia will sustain horrendous losses too, make no mistake, but Russians will survive. There is a technological reason for that. But United States will cease to exist as the nation. Europe, I'm not going to talk about Europe. It will be turned into the parking lot. And that will be the end of them as the civilization. So, and yeah, that's the, that's the perspective. So I know there are a number of people in Pentagon who still retain degree of their professionalism and understanding of what is going on. And those colonels and brigadier generals from the operational, departments of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, they still can go and tell those political generals in the United States who don't understand the war, they spend their lives kissing butt and promoting themselves, that, dudes, do you understand what is going on? So, but yeah, when you look at people like Kellogg or others and Ben Hodges or what have you. So yeah, you can see yourself what is happening. They literally live in the alternative reality. They do not understand what are they dealing with. And well, I mean, I've been at it for more than 10 years trying to educate people, so, and I continue to do this, that guys, forget about it. United States is not that military superpower which is portrayed in the Hollywood movies. Okay, the reality is completely different, and United States actually is weak. Conventionally, United States is weak. That is why the United States is the nuclear-biased nation. It will be ready to go to nuclear immediately because it will be defeated conventionally.
Is the United States under the Trump administration increasing the production of weapons?
No, they try. It's not easy. United States still cannot produce or restore the manufacturing of the tanks. The United States doesn't produce main battle tanks. They have those kits from the Abrams M1 or M2, whatever they held the iterations of this tank. They can update it. They work on some kind of the new, the future system. There is a huge issue with the production of the missiles, obviously, and it will remain so. United States simply doesn't have this ability anymore to ramp it up easily. They're not going to match Russia. Absolutely, the whole NATO cannot match Russia. In terms of the high precision weapons, United States is not even in the same league. And then again, in terms of air defense, United States doesn't even register, okay, in terms of the modern air defense and how it operates, including the what is called, well, basically strategic ABM, which they try to build now. This again, they call it Golden Dome. So it's probably going to be fake gold yet again. The problem is they cannot stop anything. They can't. You cannot. THAAD failed miserably in Israel. PAC-3 is just, it's an anecdote now. It's a meme, okay? So, and when you look at this, what else do they have? GBI, 30 of them? Oh my God. And even that, will they intercept anything? Maybe one or two, that's about it. United States doesn't simply have mitigating factor in the, God forbids, massive nuclear exchange. Everything what's going to fly will break through. And that's the thing. And what can I say? United States has nothing like a 235 Noodle, nothing like S-500 or S-550. So about, for starters, S-400 and you go on and on and on, and that's this reality. They cannot even produce the proper air defense systems, let alone the most important thing, the standoff weapons, which are ultra modern and cutting edge, and especially if they are hypersonic. There you go. I wrote about it 8 years ago. Now I repeat it again. You can say it, you can quote me, you can refer to me. United States lost the arms race, technological arms race, because it's essentially, what can it produce? It can produce a F-35. that it can.
Whenever I hear Andre Golden Dome, it reminds me of kickbacks.
Yeah, that's what. Come on, I mean, uh, listen.
That's why it's called Golden Dome.
Yeah, it's golden, all right, for golden parachutes and corporates. You cannot change this. You cannot change the DNA. United States doesn't have real cultural pressure, which the fact which nobody, including from the war colleges, can grasp. They don't have cultural pressure which forms your DNA to deliver and develop systems which actually protect. It is all about profits. American weapons are made to profit. That's it. They again, I can quote only for first deputy chief of the general staff, former who he retired about a year ago, of the Ukraine. Well, he comes out and says, "Well, yeah, Patriot Pact 3, yeah, 6% effectiveness." It's like, seriously, people, what are you selling? For example, in commercial aviation, which is still decent, okay, Boeing, for example, you still have to be constantly, pushed around, if you wish, or controlled by FAA, all those, specifications for the commercial aviation. They still managed to produce, obviously, a Boeing 737 MAX, which killed 300 plus people, but at least on the other planes, like, in developing of the commercial jet engines and things like that, there is a still system of the control. And because it is profit driven, actually, and, that works in the commercial aviation. The United States still kind of begins to lose a little bit to Airbus, but at least the United States always have been able to produce state-of-the-art good commercial planes, some of the best in the world. Here we have, it works. In military, it doesn't work whatsoever, because obviously, I mean, what? You want to tell me that some CEO of Raytheon believes, first, most of them do not understand basic things about real war. So if they believe or understand that, Russians or Chinese want to attack United States, who buys this crap? I mean, only more brainwashed morons. Well, you have Rand Corporation, the bunch of the cretins also, which are there, which write all those, defensive doctrines, which is like pulling out of their asses all kinds of crap. So, what can I say? I mean, that's the total bankruptcy of the system, and we can see it unfolding in front of our eyes. What it would take, as I warned about a real serious conflict. Well, guess what? We got the largest war in Europe since World War II. And there you go.
Andre, Trump was talking about a new fighter jet, F-47. It says that Boeing is producing that.
Sure.
And is there anything in the news, or do we have any sort of information about this fighter jet and how capable is that, and what they're seeking for, the capabilities of this fighter jet, and how capable that would be in fighting? And is there anything to be considered to find out what is all about?
I can tell you what it's going to be. It's going to be very expensive. That I can guarantee you. And I mean, very, very expensive. Well, I mean, first, we have to thank this stupid Lockheed, which introduced this fifth generation, all this crap. I mean, they produced this, what they call stealth, it's low observability aircraft, and this has been in gestation since 1960s. It's the fact that United States, the last great American plane, which was excellent plane, still is there. They're getting old. F-15, this is outstanding, machine, and it was really great. It's becoming obsolete nowadays. But the problem is, in order for even any aircraft, first, the whole idea how it was presented, primarily through Hollywood and all kinds of this fanboys, resources about stealth. I mean, getting there, all those, shapes, doesn't mean that you are still stealthy. They don't understand that in the end there is a modern signal processing doesn't care how stealthy you are. It's all about how far you can reach with your weapons. And United States has the maximum range. United States can touch any kind of the modern air power is 160 kilometers. This is the AIM-120 MRAM. They say it's 180. Nobody saw it ever fly, that far. Of course, there could be all kinds of the reports that, oh my God, it flew 2,000 kilometers, and the problem is that even R-77, Russian one, which is they call Abramsky for some reason, but yeah, it's just common solution essentially for the air-to-air missile, is actually now in excess of 200 kilometers. And they have been real kills with it, which have been totally confirmed empirically in combat situations. Now, of course, you have R-37, which has the range of 400 kilometers. And so United States is not even in this game. So it doesn't matter what kind of whatever they say. Oh, sixth generation rocket plane, it can go to the low Earth orbit. Is it possible? Well, at some point of time, probably they will be flying like this. The issue here, again, they still continue to, run around with those idiotic ideas without understanding that United States Air Force never flew in modern times in any prohibitive air defense environment, period. They don't know what it is. Nobody in the U.S. Air Force Academy or U.S. whatever the War College or Air whatever the hell the name of all those organizations, they have no clue. They don't understand how it works. They don't understand how you jam, how you do evade. In fact, what are you going to do against R-37, which is hypersonic, by the way, Mach 6. So yeah, try. Just basic physics, basic, vectors, and see for yourself how far you can, how far can you get away from it, the range of 200 kilometers. And this has been all confirmed, combat kills. So we don't know all names of Russian aces, but Su-57, Su-35, Su-30s performed amazing feats of the beyond visual range combat. So what are they going to come up with? Whatever. You need to come up with the weapon system for starters. Every single thing like ship, plane, what have you, they are platforms. Their task is to kill. Their task is not to look like F-35, which cannot fly properly still, but your task to carry the weapons and touch it as far away from the enemy as you can. United States is not even in the same league. And then it's like with the USS Columbia, which should come out. United States objectively has the need to essentially modernize the nuclear deterrent fleet, which is, of course, we know it was still are primarily a higher class, not primarily, the only a higher class strategic missile submarines. They built Columbia, which probably going to be, it is enormously expensive, up to $10 billion a hull. But what does it carry? Well, it carry again, Trident 2 D5s, which by the time the first Columbia is going to basically, be shaken down and, goes to the patrol sometime in the start of 2030s, it will be carrying missile, which will be in its 5th decade. Okay, so there you go. And many people still cannot grasp what is going on, while Russians already carry the Bory class, which are state-of-the-art submarines. They carry Vulava, which is now capable of carrying hypersonic blocks, maneuvering blocks at the strategic intercontinental range. So this is different technological paradigm. And you can shoot down ballistic missiles, believe me. You cannot shoot down the basically maneuvering hypersonic blocks, period. You can't. United States cannot.